Alrighty guys, so when it comes to Harbor Freight, I kind of look at it as a place where I go to pick up one-time use disposable items. I don't really look at it as a place to go to get tools. It definitely shouldn't be your main source for tools. There are a few exceptions that I will get into, so let's jump into this. First of all, thank you to all the new subscribers. I had an old video where I took 2x4s and I made nightstands out of those 2x4s. And that video just has absolutely taken off. And I've picked up like 7,000 new subscribers within the past week. So people really liked how that was kind of aimed towards beginners. So I might start a new series where I do like 2x challenges where I pick up 2x dimensional lumber or 1x from the big box stores and make a project out of it. I might do a little series on that, so stay tuned for that. But since I got so many new subscribers in that kind of beginner's niche, I figured where's a cheaper place to go to get supplies and tools than Harbor Freight. And this is just my experience. This is just when I go to Harbor Freight, this is what I pick up. Please comment below, let me know what you use in your woodworking shop. I'd love to hear what works for you, what doesn't work. I know other people love to read comments on the YouTube videos. I as well do. It helps people out, it helps me out, so leave a comment, let me know. Alright, so for starters, one of my favorite things to pick up is this big roll of shop towels. So this comes in a pretty big roll. It has 200 towels. This big roll is like 13 bucks, but what I really like about it is when you first buy it, you buy the bucket, and that has one of these in it. And the best part about the bucket is I have two of them, one on either side of my shop. It's got a little handle on the bucket where you can take it to and from where you're working. And then it comes with a little bracket that the handle goes up onto. So I've got them on the wall on either side of my shop, and it's just really convenient. And it's just an awesome design that I haven't really seen anywhere else. So that's definitely one of my favorites from Harbor Freight. I use shop towels all the time for all kinds of things. Good to have, one of my favorites from there. These little brushes. These things are like $2.99. I think there's 50 of them in here. So they last quite a while, but $2.99. These are awesome for spreading glue. I do have, and I have bought the silicone brushes that I used to use all the time for spreading glue, and they work great. And then once they're dry, you can peel the glue off. It's pretty satisfying, but then you can reuse them. The problem with them is after like maybe 2 projects, 3 projects, I lose them. They're just, I have no idea where they go. They're gone. I don't know if my son mistakes them for like a toy and takes them and then throws them out or something, but they're gone. So I've resorted to these. These are awesome. You know, like I said, spreading glue for gluing up a tabletop. The awesome things about these too is a lot of times I'll flatten the end of them, and then where I plunge my domino in, I can get in there and spread the glue around that way too. So these are awesome, and for $2.99, you can't beat it. I pick up a package of these every time I go. Paint brushes. They have a pretty decent selection of paint brushes at Harbor Freight. So they've got their good quality, their better quality, and then their best quality. I've never tried the best quality, but I have had the good quality and now the better quality, and they work great. I mean, they're a paintbrush. They work good, they leave a good finish on, and they're very reasonably priced. I think the better quality is like $1 more than the good quality. And basically the only reason I get the better quality is I prefer the wood handles. I don't really like the plastic handles, but it really doesn't make a difference. I like the wood handles. Next up, rubber gloves. I pick up a box of these pretty much every time I go. These are your medium duty ones. They work pretty well. But if you are doing like some staining a project and you're doing it for a while, these ones will wear through. So I do pick up 2 kinds. These are your heavy duty, and I've never gone through a heavy duty one. These These are actually pretty good. I think they are like $12.99. These ones are like $9.99. And I'm sharing the most current prices that I looked up on the website. Obviously, just like everything, the past year or two, everything has just skyrocketed. I used to get these so much cheaper. These used to be like $5.99 from there. So they've like doubled in price, unfortunately. But in my experience, they're still quite a bit cheaper than like the big box stores. Worth picking up. Alrighty, so those are the disposable items I pick up from there. Let's jump into some tools that I buy from there that I'm actually pretty impressed with. And then I'm going to share some things to just avoid. Like, just don't pick up at all. Just trust me. So, but let's jump into a few things that I really like. These shop brushes. Alright? Like, these are so cheap. I pretty much pick one up every time I go. I don't know why. Basically, I get back in the car from Harbor Freight and my wife's like, why'd you get another one of these? And I was like, I don't know. They're $1.69. $1.69. Buy these and resell them for $5 on eBay, and you got yourself a full-time gig probably. But anyway, $1.69. These are awesome for just brushing off your workbenches. I use them out at the sawmill after I'm done cutting a slab to get rid of all the sawdust. I'll even have one in the kitchen sometimes just to wipe off the counters. I think normally they're $1.99, but when I was there the other day they were $1.69. So before they're gone, I'm probably going to keep buying them at that price before they go up in price. So, good to have. These things, these little bar clamps, these are the 6-inch ones. They do sell all kinds of lengths of these, and they're really cheap. These ones are, I think they're up to $3.50. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they're $3.50 now. They used to be $1.99. But I bought a ton of these. I'll pick up 2 or 3 every time I go. What I really like about these and why I have so many of them is if I'm making table legs and I'm laminating, you know, multiple 4/4 pieces together to make a thick stock for a table leg, I require a bunch of these to glue that up. So that's why I have so many of these, but they're really handy to have and they're super cheap. Once we start going up in length, like this one is a 12-inch one. This is where I'd absolutely draw the line. The 12-inch ones do work okay, but if you're doing something like this, this will warp. You can see it kind of already is. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. It's not too bad, but I'm telling you, if you tighten something down hard enough, this thing is gonna bend. And any longer than this is useless. Just don't buy them. I'm not even joking. But the 6 and maybe 12-inch ones, if you're not tweaking it down hard, are good. But definitely the 6-inch ones. While we're on the subject of clamps, these Bremen parallel clamps, these things are awesome. I have no complaints about them. They are the cheapest in the industry and they glue up anything just as good as the other brands. So you may as well save some money and pick these up. I mean, I use these all the time and I really have no complaints about them. I think it's Matt over at that 731 Woodworks. He did a really awesome video comparing all these kinds of clamps, all different brands. I was actually really surprised, compared side by side in his video, how well these performed. If you want to know more about these, definitely check out his video, and that'll probably sell you on these. But they're great. I've got no complaints about them. They're worth getting. I've got the 24-inch ones and the 48-inch ones. And I probably will add more to these before they go up in price, because they probably will. Chisels. Okay, I know. I am probably going to catch some gripe for this. I can read the comments right now. But hear me out. When I bought these, this set was like $7.99. I think as a first chisel set, it is worth getting a very, very cheap, non-expensive set. Like I said, $7.99. I believe they're up to like 12 bucks, which is still super cheap for chisels. To start getting your feet wet with how to sharpen chisels, how to use them. These also don't hold an edge that long, which is another reason they shouldn't be like a primary chisel set. But for your first set, you're going to be sharpening them a lot to keep them sharp. And I think that kind of gets you into a routine to constantly sharpen your chisels, because it's a really good thing to do. You don't want to just keep using your chisels until they dull out and are basically useless. So that's what I do. Basically every time I use these, I brush them up on my sharpening stone and use them. And they honestly work fine. I know they're not the best quality. I know there's, tons better ones out there. But for as much as I do chisel work as of right now, these get me by just fine, and they are super, super cheap. And also, it's good to have chisels anyway for, if you're doing stuff where you don't want to ruin your good chisels, just have this crap set laying out and use it. So, that's my pitch on cheap chisels. Japanese pole saws. They've got 2 different sizes, I believe. They got this really small one, and I've had no complaints with it. It works good. And they got this really big one. I've had no complaints with these. They're pretty cheap. I don't have the exact price written down. Perfect for your first Japanese pole saw. And Japanese pole saws are great to have around the shop, so it's worth picking up from there. Alrighty, so those are the main things I pick up from there. One other thing that really isn't woodworking related is I recently bought the titanium Flux 125 welder. I've been looking at that for a couple years, and I finally pulled the trigger on it. I've only used it once, but it's performed very well. And for as much as I'm going to use it just as a homeowner, I'm not like a professional welder or anything, that's going to get me by perfect. If something breaks on my lawnmower or something and I need to weld something quick, I'm going to be perfectly happy with that. But now we'll get into a few things that I have not had good luck with from there. Alright, so a lot of what not to get in my personal experience is clamps as well. So as far as clamps that I have gotten that I have not been happy with, these aluminum bar clamps, they do work for a little while and then they start not working. But a lot of times with these little metal parts here, you'll be right in the middle of gluing up a project and you're going around and around, and the nuts just fall off and the whole handle just drops and the nuts go everywhere and you can't find them, and then you're stuck there and you have nothing to clamp your project with. After you use them a lot, you start tightening them like this. It tightens on like the actual bar. So you got to kind of like shimmy it forward and then tighten it. It's really flimsy. I know, I have heard you can take 3/4 thick plywood and put it up here to stiffen it up. But why go through that? Just spend a few more bucks on the Bremen clamp. They're much better. But yeah, I know the price is attractive for these, and they have gotten me by. I have glued up tables with them. But for the most part, I would stay away from them. I've got a bunch of these just because I bought them and I'm stuck with them. I personally will never buy them again. That's just my personal preference with those. These squeeze clamps. I really don't buy these squeeze clamps in any brand. I don't care if it's Irwin, I don't care if it's top of the line. In my experience, they just don't have the holding power. And then especially these Harbor Freight ones. These ones are just super cheap. And if you drop them once, they break, which I drop stuff all the time. I'm sure many of you do. They don't hold up. They're garbage. That's where I'm going to put it right now. These for the ones you can put on the black iron pipe or the galvanized pipe. I don't know exactly what brand it is, but it's pretty cheap. But these are terrible. I'll be gluing up a project and you'll start tightening it down, and this won't hold. This will just, once you're tightening it down, see, it doesn't hold. So once you start tightening it down, it goes the other way. So there's no clamping power. So what I have to do is get channel locks out and hold this down while I tighten that side to get it to hold. So would not buy them again. Highly recommend you don't. The Bessie brand ones that I get on Amazon, because I do have bar clamps. I really do like this style clamp and the holding power. But the Bessie ones are far better. They might be double the price, but at least they work. So there you go. That's what I pick up from Harbor Freight. Those are my go-tos. It's mainly one-time use disposable items. I don't really pick up tools from there, except a couple things I went over that I've had luck with. So what do you get from there? What do you have luck with? Again, thank you to all the new subscribers. As always, I've got another video queued up for you right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.